Hey, how's it going everyone? So, I'm here to give you the best cars for each class, discipline, weather conditions and also track type. Of course I'm gonna tell you which tune I'm using for each car. Now, these are my settings. I'm playing the game with the keyboard and basically whenever I boot up the game I start racing online. I don't really like cruising around the map, drifting is a bit tricky on a keyboard and I never play team games. This is just a bit of a perspective on who's giving you this list. Alright, so let's just start from the bottom and work our way up. In B class we only have B dirt, no street or cross country in B class. So if I were to pick a car, I'd pick Shelby Daytona in summer, but not in winter though. You only want to pick this car in summer or in wet conditions. Try to avoid picking this one if you need to race on a small circuit, especially, like I said, in wet conditions, as it doesn't have much grip and it'll turn like a boat. But yeah, so what's there to say about this one? Well, we're picking this one because of the insane acceleration, to be honest. You will leave most people behind right from the get-go. The brakes are decent and the top speed is very good, but like I said, do not pick it in winter or in small circuits. Try to make it slide a bit with the handbrake in tight corners. Another one that's very good in all weather conditions is the Ram Power Wagon. You can use it and get good results in basically every weather condition. It has good acceleration, good grip, but when it comes to top speed, it's not the fastest. This one has an advantage that most cars don't. It's very heavy, so in a free roam rush you won't get slowed down as much as the others when hitting fences. If people try to ram you off, well, they can't because your car is way heavier. But what if you need to race on a circuit? Then I'd recommend the Nissan Pulsar or the Jeep CJ5. They both have good grip, brakes, but when it comes to top speed, well, Daytona is still the winner here. When it comes to acceleration as well, another one that's competitive is the Honda Civic 74. It's good all around, just don't pick a fight with anyone because it weighs under a ton, so you'll get pushed off the track quite easily. So once again, Shelby Daytona, Ram Power Wagon, Nissan Pulsar or Honda Civic from 74. Now, let's move on to A-Class Street Summer. Quite easy here, to be honest. There are only a handful of cars that are competitive. The first one is the Nova 69. You can use this one in every weather condition. It has the second fastest acceleration in A-Class, the highest top end. I'm not taking into consideration any real wheels drive here, just all wheels drive. It has decent grip and some very bad brakes, but it makes up in speed. Try to avoid using Nova on circuits if possible. There are better cars for circuits, like for example the Atomic Punk, which has the fastest acceleration. It has very good handling, very good brakes, and the top end is not bad, honestly. Not as good as Nova though. It's also very cheap. You can use this one in every weather condition as well. Winter, summer, wet, doesn't matter. Next one is the Ford Roadster. It is just as good as Atomic Punk and it drives very similarly. The last one is the Alfa Romeo TZ2. Not the best top end nor acceleration, but it has good handling and brakes. You can definitely be competitive with it. It's mostly used in wet conditions though. And talking about wet conditions, basically we got the same cars. The Nova, the Atomic Punk, the Ford Roadster and the TZ2, like I said. There aren't any other cars, honestly. But in winter you're basically left with three choices: the Nova, Atomic and the Ford Roadster. The Alpha just it's not good here. Now when it comes to real wheels drive, I just cannot drive this with the keyboard. It's just too fucking hard. But if you're using a controller or you have a wheel setup, try the Mercury Cougar. In A-Class Dirt I'm not going to mention weather conditions because, well, it doesn't matter. The best one here is the Atomic Punk, followed by the Ford Roadster. I guess, like, you can see a pattern here. The acceleration is very important in this game because of the small window at the start of a race when there is no contact between cars. You want to get ahead of slower players, you don't want to lose time behind them trying to overtake them. Sometimes I see new players pick Subaru or Ford, which are good in real life, but sadly in the game they're shit. Also, don't use any cross-country trucks here. They're not as fast as these two, and talking about cross-country, I think that the Mercedes-Benz X-Class is a bit overrated. I think that the ZR2 is better. It has higher top end. It does have a tendency to slide, but if you can control it, you can get a better time. The next one is the Ford Raptor, just as good as the X-Class, a bit slower than the ZR2, but easier to control. Alright, so in S1 class summer, the fastest by far is the Alfa Romeo 155. It's a bit tricky to drive, it doesn't have the best grip, but it certainly has the highest top end. The acceleration is good as well, only use it in summer and don't pick it for circuits. You will not be able to get the most out of the car. You can use one of these tunes. This one has better brakes, but it's not as fast as the other one. The next one I'd say would be the Bugatti EB110. One small problem though. You need the clutch, you need to drive it with the clutch, it shifts too slow if not. You can use this one in summer, autumn or spring, doesn't really matter. It has very good grip, very good acceleration and top end. Don't use it in winter though, but if you don't want to use the clutch or you just don't like the Bugatti, then pick the Ford GT05 or the NSX from 92, they're pretty even in my opinion. I have driven both multiple times and I really cannot say which one is better. They're pretty even in my opinion. If it's raining, no problem, use the same cars except for the 155. The ATS GT is also very good here. So, the Alfa Romeo 155 for summer sprints, the Bugatti dry and wet, the Ford 05 and the NSX for dry and wet, and the ATS GT, I'd pick this one only for wet circuits. In winter, things change a bit. You can still use the Ford GT if you want, with a different tune this time. It doesn't have the best grip, but the top speed and the acceleration is what makes this car very good here. For circuits, I'd pick the Porsche Cayman or the Lotus Elise. These two have very good grip, but they're not the fastest in a straight line. Same as before, when it comes to dirt racing and cross country, winter, rain, dry, don't really matter, you pick the same car in all conditions. So in S1 dirt, the Toyota Baja T100 welcome pack is the best all around, followed by Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale, but I feel like Stradale is harder to control. Now for circuits, small circuits, the RS 200 definitely the fastest. This car has all the grip in the world, but like yeah, you have to use the Toyota Baja. The welcome pack is just too fucking powerful. You could also use the Ford DD, but it's just not as good as the welcome pack. And don't use, like I see people online using the RS 200, don't use it, like you will lose, it doesn't have top end. In S1 cross country, you guessed it, the welcome pack again, the Baja T100. This car is in its own tire, nothing comes close to this. If you really want the fastest car all around in S1 cross country, use the Baja welcome pack. You could go with the Baja, the normal version, which has higher top end, I believe, but it's slower everywhere else. Or the Jeep Trailcat for circuits, I believe you have to use the clutch for this one. Or alternatively, just like go with the Ram Rebel, but have fun losing against the welcome pack. Alright guys, we only have S2 street left, there is no cross country or dirt in online S2 class. So for S2 summer, the CCGT, but it falls behind if you're doing, for example, the Colossus. You need corners for this one to shine because it has a lot of grip. The acceleration and the brakes are also good. What it lacks is top end. The Ferrari F40C has great top end. It's a bit tricky to drive, but it can definitely win you sprint races. If you feel like the F40C is a bit too hard, try the FXX. This one is not quite as fast as F40, but it's easier to control. Moving on to S2 wet. Now you can use the CCGT here as well, but there are better options, for example the Mercedes CLK GTR or the Ferrari F50 welcome pack. You could get a better time with the CLK GTR, but it's also harder to drive in my opinion. But if you're doing circuits, the Apollo Intensa Emozione doesn't have the best acceleration, nor the best top end, but what it has is grip. So if you need to do circuits while it's raining, this would be a top car. In winter, things change a bit. You cannot use the same cars. Diablo GTR is the best here in my opinion, at least for sprint races, because when it comes to circuits or a series of corners, the back mono is tough to beat. This car, just like Apollo or RS 200, doesn't have great top end nor the best acceleration, but it certainly doesn't give a fuck about corners. That's all I got, guys. These are the best cars for online racing in my opinion. I try to give you the best options when it comes to wet, winter or dry. Feel free to suggest cars in the comments for others or for me, or if you like to race with me, just add me. But yeah, that was all. Thanks for watching and have a good one.